Welcome back. In this session, we'll start with chapter 3 of civics, that is judiciary. So, judiciary is the third organ of the government which takes care of the solving of disputes if occurs between two states, two or more states, or center and the states. And it is also the guardian of the constitution. It takes care that the basic structure of the constitution remains the same, and it also is the custodian of the constitution. Then the Supreme Court is being established by Article 124 of the Constitution. So Supreme Court is the highest court of law. So the judiciary consists of all the courts of law. So first, the apex is the Supreme Court, then comes the high courts which each state has, and then comes the smaller courts, the other courts, okay, subordinate courts. So Supreme Court, the composition, Chief Justice and the other judges of the Supreme Court who are being appointed by the chief, who are being appointed by the president, and tenure and removal, and the removal of the Supreme Court judges is being done by impeachment, and tenure is till the age of 65 years. Just go through the qualification. We'll deal with the original jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. So this, the authority of the Supreme Court has the authority to hear cases directly, which includes the disputes between the government, the central government, and one or more state governments. So this is the original jurisdiction. And the next is dispute between two or more state governments can be heard directly by the Supreme Court, and if there is any violation of the Constitution of India, then it can also be heard directly by the Supreme Court. So this is the original jurisdiction. Next come the writ jurisdiction. So writ means special the special orders which is being passed by the Supreme Court, or which is being passed, or special orders which are being issued in order to safeguard the fundamental rights which are being given to us by the Constitution of India, and which also balances, which keeps a check and balance on the other two organs of the government as well as the whole administration. So habeas corpus is the first writ. We have 5 writs, 5 special orders which can be issued by the Supreme Court. Number 1 is habeas corpus. What is habeas corpus? It is produce the body. Produce a body. So it is the writ of habeas corpus is issued by the court to produce the person who has been illegally detained by any official of the government, or by any person or any authority, any person in the authoritative position illegally. So it can ask, the Supreme Court can pass this order and ask the detaining authority to present the detained person before the court, and seeks whatever the reason for the detainment from the detaining authority, and can set the detained person free if found not guilty. Then the next one is mandamus. Mandamus is we command. So mandamus, this writ is being issued by the court where an authority, officer, government or judicial body has failed to perform its public duty. So these all these people are known as public servants, right? So they work for the people, they work for the betterment of the country as a whole. So if they fail to perform their duty, then this writ is being passed, and this is being issued, and the court orders the involved authority to act lawfully, to act according to law. Then prohibition is the next one. Prohibition is the next writ, which means to stop. So a writ of prohibition is issued by the court to stop a lower court or tribunal from trying a case beyond its jurisdiction. So prohibition means to stop. It stops any lower court or tribunal to deal with cases which transgresses or overpasses its jurisdiction. Then certiorari. So this writ talks about, writ means to be informed. So this writ is passed, or this writ is issued by the court when a lower court or tribunal has passed an order exceeding its jurisdiction. So this writ of certiorari quashes such an order which has been issued by a involved lower court or tribunal transgressing its jurisdiction. So this safeguards the jurisdiction of every court of law, and if any court transgresses its jurisdiction and passes an order, so it quashes those order and safeguards the jurisdiction of that particular court as well as other courts. Then quo warranto. Quo warranto is refers to by what authority. So a writ of quo warranto is issued by the court when a person lays claim to an office to which he is not entitled. Okay, so the court, by issuing the writ of quo warranto, seeks issuing the order of quo warranto, special power of quo warranto, seeks clarification from involved person related to his claims to an office. As the involved person who is claiming that an office is being entitled to him. So by passing this writ jurisdiction, the court asks that particular person to clarify his claims which is involved with that office which he claims to be his own and to which he is not entitled. So this is about the writ jurisdictions. Okay, these are the special powers of the Supreme Court of India in order to safeguard the rights and duties, the rights of the people and the duties of the government. Then the appellate jurisdiction. What is appellate jurisdiction? The Supreme Court can hear appeals from lower courts, that is high courts. From the high courts it can receive appeals related to any decisions of the lower courts, and if the high court thinks that a particular case a particular decision is related or involves in an important question of law and it is transferable to Supreme Court, then this appellate jurisdiction works. That is against the decision of any high court or against the decision of any lower courts, appeal can be made to the Supreme Court for the review of the judgment that is being passed. Then revisory jurisdiction. What is revisory jurisdiction? So Article 137 of the Constitution states that a Supreme Court can revise its own judgment. So earlier it has passed one judgment, it can revise its own judgment and according to the case whatever it is dealing with, and it can pass another judgment, and it is done in order to eliminate any mistake in the previous verdict given by Supreme Court. So it can revise its own judgment and it can pass new judgment in order to rectify mistake whatever has been done previously. Then advisory jurisdiction. What is advisory jurisdiction? So under advisory jurisdiction, the Supreme Court can be approached by the President of India, that is the head of the country. He can approach the Supreme Court to obtain its opinion on any question of law or any fact of public importance. So if the President thinks that anything, if the President wants to know any opinion of the judges of the Supreme Court regarding any particular thing which involves public importance or any opinion regarding any issue, it can the President can approach the Supreme Court, and this particular jurisdiction is known as advisory jurisdiction. The President is not, it is not binding on the part of the President to accept the advice of the Supreme Court, or it is not binding on the part of Supreme Court to comment anything on that particular issue about it is not bound to express his opinion to the President. It is not bound to express its opinion, but even the Supreme Court is not bound to express his opinions. Like both of them are not bound to accept each other's opinion or bound to follow each other's opinion, but the opinion of the Supreme Court is considered important as it not only allows the government to rethink on the action it is intending to take, but also allows it to make suitable changes. So since the Supreme Court explains the Constitution properly, or it safeguards the basic structure of the Constitution, it interprets the laws, it interprets everything in the constitution. So that's why the opinion of the Supreme Court is very important. So that is why the advisory jurisdiction, like though the president is not bound to accept the opinion of the Supreme Court, but it is considered very important in any case. Then court of records. Court of records. So Supreme Court records its own judgment. So whatever judgment is being passed by the Supreme Court, it records its own judgment in order to go through the judgments later on if needed in some other cases. So it can also review its judgment, it can change that, like it can make changes to the judgment, it can revise the judgments. That's why it is a court of records, as it records all the judgments, proceedings and acts as they can be used in future references to other cases also. So it any contempt of court or includes willful disobedience to any order of court, interference to the judicial proceeding and obstructions also. Contempt of court, any interference in judicial proceedings also calls for it also calls for the action of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court can take actions against this. Then we'll talk about the jurisdiction of judicial review. So what is judicial review? So judicial review means it is called the watchdog of the Constitution, that is the guardian of the Constitution. This I have been repeating since we started this chapter. It is a guardian of the Constitution. It takes care that the basic structure of the Constitution remains same. It takes care that there is no contempt to the Constitution of India, since it is the supreme law of land. It is the basic it is a basic rule book which the government follows in order to govern the country. So it has a final authority to interpret the meaning of this Constitution of India. Supreme Court is the authority, has the ultimate authority to interpret the meaning of everything in the Constitution of India. So under the jurisdiction of judicial review, the Supreme Court holds the power to examine the constitutional validity of any law or any order of an government. It can also declare a law invalid or illegal. So it has a power to declare the law illegal or invalid, because it interprets the Constitution of India at its best. And it is found if any law or if any order is being passed and it is found that it is violating the Constitution of India, then strict action can be taken against that, and Supreme Court has a watch over that. This allows the Supreme Court to hold the supremacy of the Constitution and maintain balance between the safeguard states and the center and safeguard the fundamental rights of the citizens. So it acts as a check and balance between the three organs of the government and the center and the states as well. So then we come to High Court. High courts are present in all the states of the country. Like every state, in every state the apex court is the High Court, and in the country the apex court is the Supreme Court. So composition, it has Chief Justice and number of other judges. So Chief Justice of a High Court is appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of the concerned state. And with regard to the appointment of the other judges, the Chief Justice of that court is also consulted. So qualifications you go through: tenure and removal. Tenure is 62 years, and removal is either they will submit resignation, or if they are incapable or misuse of authority has been found, then the office can be terminated. So just go through this. Then the jurisdiction and functions of High Courts. So again, as we have already covered the portions of jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, similar in High Court, the jurisdiction of High Court. So like the Supreme Court, a High Court also possesses the authority to hear a case directly. So the original jurisdiction. Such cases include the ones related to the fundamental rights, since it is the apex court of the states. So it can directly hear the cases related to fundamental rights, wills, divorce, marriages, contempt of court. as well as election disputes. So it takes care of, it can directly hear the cases related to all the subjects. Then writ jurisdiction. Again, high courts are empowered to issue writs. Writs are what? Special powers which are being given to the courts through which they can safeguard the rights of the people, of the fundamental rights of the people, and have a check on the powers and the people who are in that authoritative position to extend their powers and see whether they're using their powers unlawfully or not. So high courts are empowered to issue writs or special orders for the enforcement of the fundamental rights. Then appellate jurisdiction, it can also, the high courts can also hear appeals against the decision of the subordinate courts. Appeals against all the decision of the subordinate courts in civil, revenue and criminal cases can be brought directly to the high courts. Then supervisory jurisdiction, a high court has the power to supervise the functioning of the lower courts which come under its territorial jurisdiction. So every high court is given a territorial jurisdiction. The subordinate courts which come under the territorial jurisdiction of that particular high court, that high court has the power to supervise the actions, the functioning of those lower courts in its territorial jurisdiction or in its territory or territory assigned to them. Then judicial review. High court also authorized to check the constitutional validity of a law passed by the central and or the state government. Like Supreme Court, the High Court also has the authority to check the constitutional validity of any law passed by the central or the state governments. If a law is found violating the Constitution of India or outside the competence of concerned authority, like outside the jurisdiction or not jurisdiction, outside the areas of the concerned authority, then the High Court can declare it unconstitutional and invalid. So Court of Records, High Court also records its judgment and keeps its judgments, proceedings and acts to be served as reference in future cases. High Court possesses the power to punish the people who are involved in contempt of court on account of willful disobedience to any order of court or interference in the judicial proceedings and obstructions to the administration of justice. So like Supreme Court works for the entire nation. High Court works in a similar way for the state, for that particular state. Significance of the judiciary. So there are a few significance given. I am reading it out. It safeguards the supreme law of land, that is the Constitution. It interprets the various provisions of the Constitution of India, thereby ruling out the possibility of any branch of government manipulating the provisions of the Constitution of India as per its will. So it acts as a check to the powers of the other organs of the government and the people involved in the governing process. It provides justice to the society. In the absence of judiciary, the legislative and the legislature and the executive of the government might start working arbitrarily, like might start working on their own in their own way and become a monarch or despot. We have a democracy, not a monarchism or despotism, right? So in order to have a check on the power of these two branches, the judiciary ensures justice to the society. It settles dispute between the centers and the states and protects the unity and integrity of the nation. It protects the rights and liberties of the people. Our fundamental right is being protected by the Supreme Court, and if it is taken away or violated by any concerned authority or person in the authoritative position illegally or unlawfully, the Supreme Court takes care that our fundamental right is being ensured and whatever violation has been done is being overcome. So hence we come to the end of this chapter. Go through the key terms and go through the chapter, and if you face any problem you can ask me. Thank you.